What's going on YouTube? Mmm. Mmm. Lunchtime in the car by myself, no friends. But on the bright side, peace and quiet. So let me give y'all a little story time. There I am, in line, minding my business. And to be black in America is to always be at a heightened state of vigilance. Call it hypervigilance. Always on the edge of just thinking like, was that a slight? Am I tripping? Almost like a paranoia. Almost to the point of a paranoia. So let me just get into the story. So here I am, and I knew it was gonna happen. I don't know how it's almost like I could predict the future. I knew it was gonna happen. I'm standing in line. Typically at lunchtime, what is supposed to happen is civilians, retirees, and all of that, if you're in the self-checkout line, you're supposed to step to the side if a uniformed member comes through. And why do you do that? Because they have the priority, because they got to get back to duty typically. Now, it just so happened I didn't have to get back to anything, so I wasn't really caring. But I observed an elderly gentleman. He was standing there, never once looked back. But when it came time for the line to open, I noticed he looked over his shoulder and he told the guy that was standing behind him, pilot type, that he could go ahead and get in front of him. And I was like, oh, watch this. I said it in my head. I knew it was going to happen. I said, watch this. That's strange that he did it like that. He's not going to let you go in front of him. And he's not going to offer that courtesy. And so it came about, the next line was open, and surely, just like I predicted, he didn't see me, and he just went forward, and he got to his little checkout line. He was kind of like walking slow anyway. Like I said, he was an elderly gentleman. And I noticed like the exchange of like pleasantries when he was telling the pilot to get in front of him. I noticed that. I observed that. And then I also noticed how it almost seemed like it was an added effort to not look totally back. So he just kind of like looked to the side where like he could like plausibly deny, oh, I didn't see you. But typically what happens when you in civilian uniform and civilian gear and you standing in that line, you'll look back, just kind of look back. And then you just kind of wave people in front of you. That's how you're supposed to do it. But I already knew what time it was. And so I saw that, and I went and I got another line opened up, and I just ended up getting out of there. But like, for me, it was like one of those moments of, am I crazy? Is that crazy for me to think like that? Now, what did them people have in common? The guy that didn't let the guy in front What even is life right now? Anytime your bank calling you and you ain't called your bank, it's usually something foolish. But whatever. Um, yeah. So I was just like going back to the story. I was in the line. The guy let one uniformed guy go, and then when the next time it opened up, he was like, "All right, I'm going." And I just knew it was weird because typically what will happen is if you see like multiple people, you would just kind of like tell all of them, go ahead and get in front. It's a crapshoot. I get it. Like, cause like if I was a retiree and I'm standing in the line at lunchtime, one, I probably wouldn't be there at lunchtime. That's just me. Cause I'm like, I ain't about to just keep getting passed and over and over and over again. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put myself in that position. Um, but whatever. It was just funny to me how I knew it was gonna happen just by the way things were progressing that he was going to um do that. And I don't know if he legitimately didn't see me. But I suspect he did. He looked like a retiree. He knows the deal. Like this is not a new process. It's always been this way. Well, but that was like for me. That was like a little microaggression, and sometimes, most of the time, I don't engage in microaggressions. Um, like literally, after that happened, another person is like opening the door. Like I'm standing in line. I've been in that same spot for a while. Another civilian dressed guy like opens the door, and the door's touching my arm. Like not like just it tapped it. It's like moving my arm out the way. And I just looked at it that at the top of his head. And I'm like, man, they got problems down here. Problems. Like the guy just pushed my arm with the glass door. Not hard, but still he pushed it. He's like, sir, do you not feel that resistance that you encountering when this glass door is hitting my arm? And I could have got stupid and been like, excuse you. But there's always this hypervigilance going on. And there's always this calculus. Like, this is a part of like why I think, in addition to like discrimination and all that other stuff, this is why you have health disparities in America. Because like literally the entirety of your existence is spent being like microaggressed against, and you are conditioned to always be in this hypervigilant state. So that got to raise your blood pressure. That has to impact blood pressure, right? If you always under stress, your blood pressure is probably going to be a little bit elevated. And they say hypertension is like the silent killer. People just be walking around fine, and then the next day, they had a stroke. And like things just happen like back to back to back, and it brings about. Hold on, y'all. Let me put this on Do Not Disturb. Yeah, when there's so much stuff that's like constantly happening, it's like I don't know if y'all have seen like those movies where there's even a meme where there's a guy. I think he's from what's that? It's that movie in Vegas. They got Mike Tyson in there. Mike Tyson punches out a guy's tooth or whatever. Um, I can't remember what the name of that movie is, but he's looking up and he's seeing like all of these mathematical equations just kind of like flashing in front of his eyes. That is literally the mind work that I find myself going through often when I'm in like different spaces where it's like, just different spaces. I'm gonna put it like that. It's like I'm doing calculus. Like, all right, I could check this dude, but let's play that out. How's that gonna work? I check this dude. If he say the wrong thing, what you gonna do? If he get aggressive, what you gonna do? You gonna laugh it off, or you gonna match his energy, his aggression? And so like, all right, well, I can't go that way. Because if he get aggressive and I get aggressive, first of all, you knock my arm with the door. So now I could knock you back with the door. And now if you swing on me, now we in the commissary, we fighting. Okay, what's that mean? It doesn't mean anything. I mean, that is probably more important than that or that. Okay, what is that? The organization in which I'm a part of, or the rank that I'm currently holding. That is who I am. That's my identity. Not this. Not this. This is like, again, this is an organization. This will have a beginning and an end date. This is just something that honestly, whatever. That's a whole nother story. Rank is honestly just a popularity contest. Do people like you enough to push you forward? Do they say good things about you? But yeah, man, just carrying that frustration. Because like I said, I knew Buddy was going to do it before he did it. Like, his behavior indicated to me when he only, like, he made it a point, like, as the person was going, to just kind of, like, talk to the guy, and then the guy, he moved the head, and then he looked at him that way. So he tried to, you know, give himself a little wiggle room to deny, oh, I didn't see you there, you know? But I could have been one of them dudes that been like, oh, excuse me, hold on. Because I've done that before, too. Also, like, when you go to get medication and stuff in a pharmacy, military has priority. Civilians could have been standing in line for 30 minutes. Military member comes up, active duty member, they come up, they go straight to the front of the line. There's literally 2 lines. And everyone that is utilizing the pharmacy is aware of that. Some people honor it and some people don't. But I've been in situations where people, like, try to pretend like they didn't see me. And sometimes I let it ride. But most of the time I don't. Most of the time I'm gonna step out. I'm not even gonna give them an opportunity. If they're acting like they don't see me, I'm not even gonna give them an opportunity to not see me. I'll literally just walk in front of them. And then there's a lot of people I've seen, like, some people that just say, I don't have anywhere to be. I'm just gonna stand in line. And then, like, so you as the uniform member, now you the jerk that's, taking advantage of the system because, well, that colonel don't have anywhere to be, or that chief don't have anywhere to be. Where you got to be, Major? I got to be about my business. And that's them. Whatever they doing, like, we ain't got the same jobs. Clearly we ain't got the same jobs. And we don't have the same expectation where you can just go and stand in the line and waste time. No, I'm not doing it. But that happened on a Friday. And so, you carry that. You carry things. Like, people, I try to be like a duck where the water to get on you and it slide off. Ducks, quacks, water gets on them and it just slides off of them. And you'll see them in the water, and above water, they looking smooth. But underneath the water, when they moving, they pedaling a lot. There's a lot going on. That's kind of how I try to carry myself. I try to remain neutral. But again, there's some energy involved in remaining neutral, because there's all of these energy interactions going forward where people are putting out negativity towards you. And I'm not like no new age spiritualist or anything. I don't want it to sound like that. But it is. That's how I will, you can call it energy, you can call it emotions, you can call it sentiment. You whatever. But there's all negativity. We'll call it negativity. There's all sorts of negativity. Um, Deluxe. There's all sort of negativity that is just being bombarded with throughout the day. And you have to make a conscious choice whether you're going to allow that stuff to penetrate your armor, or whether you just going to let it just kind of roll off your armor. And so you might, like, I wonder sometimes, like, do white men go out with armor, with this armor on? Or is this just like a black experience? I'm really curious about that. Oh, I spit on the camera. I'm really curious about that. Like, is this just a part of the black experience, or is this a part of the human experience? Because I'm literally going out, especially in this state. I just, like, you have to unsee a lot of what you see. Um, Alabama, as I'm nearing the end of this assignment, Alabama has been a very interesting place. I've been to no place like Alabama. I started off in California. I'm from Maryland, which is technically the South, but technically. Um, I moved to California. Then I moved to Oklahoma. Then I moved back to California. Then I moved to Alabama. And for some reason I don't know if does Oklahoma count as the South. I feel like when we say South, we talking about Southeast. Um, and then like Oklahoma, is that like Midwest? I don't know. It might be a part of the South, but it felt like the South. Oklahoma did feel like the South. Um, I never had the instance happen, but my wife was in the Walmart and some person called her an N-word, like audibly. And for me, I'm like, I wasn't there. And even if I was there, you have to understand when you interacting with people. Who said this? Who said this? What I'm about to say. Nick Saban. Nick Saban, the Alabama head coach. Nick Saban said, if I was to step out on Debbie, I'm going to step out with somebody that got more to lose than I do. Don't step out. Don't jump out there with people that got less to lose than you. And a lot of the people, like somebody that's just going to throw an N-word out casually, like somebody that they don't know because of some perceived or actual slight, they're reckless. They really don't even care about their life, honestly. Because in today's society, you don't know what people got going on in their mind upstairs. And so a lot of times it's just like going out, like minding your business. Like if somebody's not threatening my safety, or threatening any of my loved ones, What about now? Eh? Eh? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Ah. Man, so I like to watch my live streams afterwards, just to kind of review and everything. You mean to tell me I was talking all of this time and y'all couldn't hear me? People just coming, like it'd be like 6 people in the room watching me just like this. And ain't nobody saying nothing. E189, Z2U, what does that mean? You the only real N up in here. You the only real N up in here. That tell me, yeah, man, we can't hear you, dog. It seems like from your expression that you saying a bunch of good stuff, but we can't hear none of it. Y'all. It's hard to find good people. I think E189 is a good person, though. The rest of y'all, I created a channel to let you know. Oh, did you? So you followed me before? Would I know you under a different name? If you follow me, man, it's gonna show me, and I'm gonna follow you. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, you created a channel to let me know I was muted. Oh. Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you. That was a lot of effort to do that. So you definitely a real one. Dang. I was talking about, let me give you, sometimes this is good because I can be long-winded. So I'm going to give you the 30-second summary of what I was talking about. I was talking about how I just got a new job at the Pentagon. I'm going to be going there either in January or in August. So early next year or middle of next year. And it's a staff level job. And I was concerned because I had a staff level job previously that I did not do well in. But somebody had opened it up for me and told me that those 2 staff jobs are not the same. One was based on a deployed environment where they're making up the rules as they go. And then this current staff job that you're about to go to is based strictly on policy of what's already established and what's written. And I talked about how I said me being a man of faith, I'm used to being able to go to a reference. And like if I hear you say something, I'm gonna go to that reference. I'm like, wait, you just said the Bible say what now? And then I would look, and where at did it say that? I don't know. I think it was somewhere in the New Testament in one of the epistles. Okay, all right. Well, let me just put a little bit of what you said. Let me look that up. That's my style. And so when I hear that is what my job is going to be, I said, this is my opportunity to establish dominance. I am a 17-year major, which means I've been passed over for promotion 3 times. I've been skipped over. They said, nah, we don't want that dude. Let's go with somebody else. And I'm like, well, am I trash? Or like what? Like, I thought I was a decent officer. 6 was scared because 7, 8, 9. So 16 up 7 to help 7 from eating 9. At least that's what I gathered last time I read the numbers. But could be wrong. Though I'm not good at math. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. So now, because I was talking with my mentor before, let me back up. So I had an assignment to Oklahoma City, and that assignment got turned off due to medical reasons. And But before I was trying to go to Oklahoma City, I was talking with my mentor about different places I should go. And my mentor was like, oh, bruh, you need to go to Oklahoma City. Because guess who's going to be, who they're looking at to be the commander of Oklahoma City? I said, who? He said, me. I'm going to be the commander. And so you get there, you'll get there before me, but I'm going to get there later. It ended up, this dude, he ended up pressing the retirement button. So he's not going. But he told me when I asked him about the Pentagon, he said, based upon your record, you would not be selected by the career field to serve at headquarters, which means your record is not competitive. You have not indicated to leadership over the course of your Air Force history a high possibility of success. Is basically what I heard him say. We don't think you'll work out there. And so, that's debatable. I have my flaws. I do have my flaws, and I understand my flaws. One of my flaws is ADHD. And ADHD was something that I didn't ask for, but it's something that I was given. And I honestly was not diagnosed with ADHD until I was 42 or 43. I'm 44 now. Like, we literally just got diagnosed. And so ADHD, it didn't become a problem. I guess I didn't reach a tipping point to get evaluated until I had multiple stressors in my life. And then multiple stressors, they caused me to my wife was like, man, you need to go see the doctor. Something not right. And so I went to go see the doctor, and I got an ADHD diagnosis, and I also got a depression diagnosis. And so couple them things together, and you start to understand why for a while in your Air Force career, you was flying high. When I was a captain, I was all right. I wasn't the best that ever did it, but from a people perspective and from a leadership perspective, I will put myself up against anybody. Because the leadership, when you're in leadership, they're not asking you to be the best operator or the best, the smartest person in the room. The leader is not the smartest person in the room. If they are, they're probably in the wrong room. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. You want some people on the baseline. You want smart airmen, and you want to empower those smart airmen. And so, so for me, and I seen your comment. I'm gonna get to your comment. Prehistoric water gun 0136. You said pick a superpower. I'm gonna do that. But let me finish my thought, because again, I'm ADHD and I forget. That thought will leave and it won't come back. It'll be gone into the nether realm. But so because of these things, I would forget things. Sometimes I would struggle with things. Sometimes I would procrastinate. And there was all of these things that I was doing all of my life that I didn't know. Hey man, they actually got medication for you to manage and to work through these processes. And so I don't use that as an excuse. But honestly, neurodivergence can't be viewed as a handicap. It can. Does everybody need to know my medical history in terms of when I'm going to a new assignment? Nah, they don't need to know that. I mean, I didn't tell my boss that until until I was at the point of getting paperwork. And until he kind of forced me to tell him. I'm like, look, man, I'm dealing with a lot. So what you getting and all of this, y'all tripping over little stuff, dude, I got a lot on me. And they talk about leaders and leadership is so important. But how come we see so many bad leaders then? If leadership is so important, why do we see so many bad leaders? Right? It's a ton. if you were to be asked, especially in the military, how many good leaders have you had and how many bad leaders have you had in your career? Most of the people will tell you they've had more bad leaders than good ones. If I'm looking over my career, I'm going to look right now from when I first came in. Okay? I'm looking. I had one dude. Andy was a good dude. Mike Andrus was a good dude. Okay. Gosh, I don't forgot that man's name. I could see him. Colonel Pananon, great dude. Um, um, Colonel Fuji, great dude. Um, Thomas. I can't remember his last name. His name was Thomas. He's from Boston. He was a great dude. And Bluegill. They had a lot to say about Bluegill, but that's 7 leaders. I didn't tell you how many people I was skipping while I was recounting all of those people, because like you saw me, like I was mentally going through like my first year. I was like, no, did not encounter a good or great leader. And great leaders is probably like, it should be the expectation, but it is really the exception. You don't see great leaders. And I just feel like what makes a person great often is their ability to leverage the resources that they have effectively. That's what I think makes a great leader. And also the ability to care. Care? Like for me, when I know that you care about me, I'm going to run through the wall for you. There's nothing that I won't do because I know you got my back, so I got yours. Because I don't want to let you down, and I know you're not going to let me down. If you want to give views, subs, etc., you should make memes, jokes, types of videos only if you have time. Yeah, I'm tracking. I don't use YouTube for that. I don't use YouTube or TikTok for that. This is vlogging. This is a video log. You'll see me with like 4 people, 5 people. I think the most I've ever had on a live stream, I think I got like 6,000 views or something. But you know what I was doing on that live stream? I was putting my life in danger, risking electrocution, and teaching my son. I'm supposed to be teaching my son, and I'm learning at the same time how to change a light fixture. That video got like so many views. People, and I don't know if it was a function of black man teaching black son. I don't know what it was that resonated with the people, but it was a lot of people in that room. Somebody gave me some money in there. They was like, I want to see you build into your young man and this and that. I'm like, wait, people be giving money on live streams? That's crazy. But keep it coming. Mo Amani says, I have not decided to go 20 yet. I'm hung on whether I pursue going direct commission officer for a specialty, i.e. an MOS, or should I stay enlisted and milk as much training in school, then get out. Okay, so we have an Army brother. This is what I hate about the Air Force. What we did. What did we do? We adopted Army's uniform. This is an Army uniform, right? You would look at it. But if you would note, that is a camouflage flag. The Army's flag is in color. So that's how you could tell civilians. That's how you can tell just by looking at my sleeve that I'm Air Force. Because the color of my flag. You could also tell because it say Air Force right there on my left chest over my heart. But what I would say, you got to do what's best for you. Look at it like this. If you just want to get as much training and separate, because sometimes the values of an organization don't align with your personal values. And Second War, Hegseth said that. He said, if you feel like you can't get with what I'm saying, you should get out. You should leave. And when he said that, this is what I heard. If you don't love it, then leave it, brother. That's what I heard. Love it or leave it. And, that's when I heard that, this is what I also heard. Maybe it wasn't this type of whistle, it was a dog whistle. It's like only people listening at that certain frequency was picking up what he was putting down. Take that for what you want. But I'm like, no. Although the values of the organization may have diverted slightly from my personal values, I always think about my why. Why did I join the military? First reason was it's a good way to take care of your family. Second reason was to pay off them student loans. So guess what? We already done paid off them student loans. $250K of loans forgiven. Ah! I like you. Prehistoric water gun, I like you. Red and Jewish grandpa voice. The superpower. That was racist. I shouldn't have did that. Maybe it wasn't racist. Maybe it was. I don't. Yiddish. That's what I was trying to do. That was like a Yiddish accent. It wasn't that good. The superpower. So the superpower I would have, it's either going to be invisibility or speed. Because you said superpower, so that means one. I can only get one. I would. I'm trying to think. Speed is overrated. Probably teleporting. Teleporting. Teleporting? Yeah. Teleporting. And when I say teleporting, I'm not talking about just teleporting through space. I'm talking about teleporting through time as well. The things that they don't talk about in science fiction movies that Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrophysicist, world famous astrophysicist, talks about is like when they're doing time travel, they're only thinking about time. But really, you need to be thinking about time and space. Because, like, if you go to a certain spot, because the Earth is on this orbit, right, around the sun. Now, what happened if you go to a certain time, but you're not in the right position? You out in space, dead. I hope that's your superpower, that you can breathe out in space, because you're going to die. So, that's why I would say teleporting. But you would have to have some type of built-in, like, you understand world geospatial and where the world is in its orbit at the time that you're coming back. Because again, if you don't know that, you just gonna time travel and be like, or freeze to death. Probably freeze to death first. But yeah, that would be my superpower. What about you? What would your superpower be? Since you wanted to know mine. And are you writing this down or something? Because that's just crazy that you asked that. And while you think about that, I'm going to get back to what I was talking about. So, yeah, my mentor told me, yeah, man, you probably wouldn't qualify to go to the Pentagon. And again, due to a medical, they reconsidered. They had a spot at the Pentagon, And guess what? That spot was mine. They was holding it for me. They didn't know that, but it was mine. That's what I believe anyway. And so I'm a person that uses Chat GPT. I use right now in Chat GPT, I took 40 pictures, 49 pictures. I took a lot of pictures and plot armor power, but it has to be the kind that is comedic and looks patently absurd. Plot armor. That would be your power armor? So you're going to be out here fighting. Because if you need armor, that means you need protection. Because you getting in dangerous situations. Me, I'm like this. A good run is better than a bad stand any day. That's why I would take teleporting or invisibility. Because, it's always going to be somebody out there that is stronger than you. That's just how it is. Or there's going to be situations that is not in your favor. You might be stronger than the people, but if it's too many people, right? And that's why I said speed too. Because like those fast people, they can slow down time. But I'm thinking about the movie Flash and how he ran so fast that he started time traveling, and then he created all these multiverses, and it just messed up time. And I was like, well, I don't want to get involved in speed. I'm good with that. That's probably not what I need. But so what I did is I went to Chat GPT, y'all, and I made so many pages worth of stuff. And this is just going to be my preparation tool. This is going to be one of my preparation tools, honestly. Because you got to have, hold on, let me put this right here. Jeez, I need to get a stand. What is he doing? You good? You have to have multiple sources, and multiple references. Because again, this headquarters staff position is based on policy. And so how can I best prepare for this position? By being familiar with the policy. And there's only so much. Did you see Hexath's new director for the military to use Gen AI? You know I did. And I'm like, I'm just glad they caught up. Because, sir, I've been using AI. Especially in my job. He said we should be using it like every day. Been there. So I've been doing that already for probably a year plus. Okay? I literally pay, no, more than a year plus. It's probably because ChatGPT been around for a minute. Yeah, I pay $20 a month for my ChatGPT. I don't get that little regular ChatGPT that y'all be using. I use ChatGPT Plus. But guess what? They got a ChatGPT Pro. That's even better. Too rich for my blood. But if it wasn't, I would have had that as well. I've been using ChatGPT for everything, man. Like, look at the size of this notebook. ChatGPT helped me build. Hold on, let me see if I can just flip. I can flip it. All right. Your half, Headquarters Air Force A3. That's where I'm going to go. It's A3 is operations. Preparation roadmap. This is the goal right here. Phase 1. Like, this thing is broken down in phases. First 30 days. Matter of fact, the only thing I forgot was the table of contents. I'm going to put a table of contents in here. I'm going to tell it to build me one. JKO. And my Army brethren, y'all know what this is. JKO, because y'all do a lot of training on there as well. Joint knowledge. Joint is when you have more than one service involved. Air Force, Marines, Army, Coast Guard, Navy, Space Force, all of them. Then there's courses. I'm currently assigned to Air University. but there's Air University online courses. Operational design and art, I'm going to take that. JADO 101, it said you should do that. I'm about to take that. I'm going to sign up for it. I don't know where it's offered. I used to work at the E-School. It's not even called the E-School. It's called Air Force Global College. I'm about to take Air Power Foundations. It says read doctrine. So, like, you can read the doctrine, or you can tell AI to summarize the doctrine for you. You know, like, give me the quick hitters. What do I need from this document for working in the Pentagon at A3? And it'll give you, like, notes. Now, me, I don't like using AI to the fact of, like, I won't actually search the source. So I'm literally, this is just kind of like teaching me how to prepare. Phase one, hold on. Phase one was your immediate foundation, your first 30 days of before or after arrival. Phase two, skill mastery. Write like a half officer. So you're going to need to be able to write at the Pentagon. Do I know how to write right now? Probably not. Attend Maxwell or adjacent training. They got JPP. I've taken JPP. That's the joint planning process. I've done that. Agile Combat Employment Seminars. Haven't done that, but I'm interested. LeMay Center Doctrine Summit recordings. Okay, recordings. That means I could do that on my own time. Wargaming academics. Guess what? We do AFWE. We do that at SOS, Squadron Officer School. These make you dangerous in a good way. Build staff officer weapons school skills. Not a real course, but these four abilities are everything. Required skill. Turn vague guidance into concrete action. Required skill 2. And now this right here, turning vague skills into concrete action, that is literally where we live as officers. That's what we do. Because most of the time, your leaders don't know what they want. This is why you as an officer, you should be in tune to what's going on in foreign affairs. When I see an oil cargo ship was seized off the coast of Venezuela, we at war. We're at war. War hasn't been declared, but we are at war. When I see ships being blown up off the coast of Venezuela, we're at war. So literally what you should start doing is you should start familiarizing yourself with the plans associated with conflict in the region. Because there's already plans for it. And if they're not plans for it, guess what your job is? It's operations. Well, that's what this book is supposed to tell me. Because it's not plans. A3 is not plans. But every staff is a member of the operational planning team. And so we got to plan operations. So when this stuff is happening, there's always people in the background working. There's people like, there's a sensor operator, there's a pilot that's putting warheads on foreheads. But there's people on the back in the Pentagon and in these other locations that have formed these plans of what they should be doing. And so, yeah, require skill, turning vague guidance into concrete action. You hear the president say something, guess what? He just gave you some marching orders. You should be doing something now. 3 levels up, situational awareness. Everything you do connects to the Secretary of the Air Force, Chief of the Staff, National Defense Strategy, gift map, and Joint Force Design. And that's Global Force Management. Learn to always ask, how does this action support readiness, force generation, or deterrence? Narrative mastery. And so I said I wasn't that strong with this skill, but I'm going to have to develop this skill. You will sit in rooms where the most respected officers aren't the smartest. They're the clearest. If you can brief succinctly to the point, which is where I live, we can keep all the fluff. And so here's the mistake I used to make as my background. I grew up preschool, black space. Elementary, black space. Middle school, black space. High school, black space. College, HBCU. Professional school, black space. So like I literally, everything that I've been in has been in my comfort zone. And so I decided join the military. And that was my first non-black space. And like it or not, people judge you based on what you look like and what you sound like. And people feel comfortable with what sounds familiar. If there's not a lot of black officers, that means you come in speaking a different way. We are in an evaluate mode. We are in a we don't really trust you. You have to prove it first. Whereas your counterparts, they will come into the military and they didn't have to prove anything because they look the part and they sound the part. But when you're not talking the same, we nervous. And so what I used to try to do is I used to try to adapt how I talk. Now my wife told me, she said, babe, and now my wife, elementary, she's a black woman, but she grew up in white spaces. And so she is well versed. My wife could flow. My wife, in fact, my wife has led me through a lot of decision making as an officer in the Air Force because she was before ChatGPT helped me out, she was great at cultural decoding. Because remember, black spaces, we are, I can't remember if it's low or high social context, but like we say what we mean. We mean what we say. And in white spaces, I learned that like it's not what's said, it's what's not said. And you have to be good at picking up what people are putting down. And so I initially thought that, well, if I try to sound like I think they sound, then that will be accepted. But now me has said, dude, you too late for that. You 44. You spent the first 26, 27 years of your life in a different space. Now, she did tell me, my wife told me, if you want to learn, I want somebody to verify this for me. She said, if you want to learn how your peers think, you need to watch Friends. You need to watch every episode of Friends and Seinfeld. Friends and Seinfeld is what she told me to watch. Bruh, I turned on Seinfeld. Oh, Lord. It's too much. He's OD'd. It's too much whiteness. Throw some hot sauce on it. I OD'd. It was too much. I couldn't get through. It was like the music. They was beatboxing on the thing, and he was like making all these mouth noises. I'm like, bro, what is this show doing right now? And honestly, I don't even know where Seinfeld, like, where could I watch Seinfeld right now? Does it come on TV still? Is it on Netflix? I grew up watching, like, when Seinfeld was on, I was watching Martin. You know? And Martin, they only had like one white person on the show. And so I'm just this person that's grossly unprepared, unfamiliar. And when I think about it like that, like, so I'm the minority in this space. But if I was the majority and everyone's talking in can't even talk now, AAVE, we at this comfortable place because believe it or not, people code switch all the time. Because the code in the military, we call it speaking government. I call it speaking government. You got to talk a certain way. Like, I don't talk to my people. Like, when we talk in business, I don't talk like this. I don't. Because a lot of times, this is a little microaggression. They'll be like, what? Like, they can't understand what I'm saying. Oh, I'm speaking a different language now. Oh, what did you say? Did you say? I'm like, okay. All right. Let me enunciate every syllable. It is a different language. Honestly, it is. And I see this message is being held for review. I'm gonna take it as a sign of disrespect. I ain't even gonna review it. So, if you wanted what you said to get responded to, you got to word it a different way. I don't review messages that YouTube filters because it's filtered for a reason. So sorry, for good or for worse. Um, yeah, man. I phase. Let me get back to these phases. I didn't finish the required skills. Required skills. And ChatGPT built all of this for me, y'all. Turn vague guidance into concrete action. 3 levels up of situational awareness. Think about how your actions, basically second and third order effects. Think about how what you do is going to impact the people above you. Narrative mastery. Be able to get to the point quickly. Okay? Can you tell what the point is and get to it? Timeliness is better than perfection. Bruh, like if you had perfection but you was late, we would have took, now this say the 90% solution. Like that's a high threshold. 90% correct? That takes a long time. It takes a long time to get to 90% correct. I've always heard like we'll take the 70% solution. So that's going to allow for speed and like you can fill in the blanks or we'll correct it at our level because you don't have all the information that we have. Strategic positioning is 3 and 12 months. This is how you put yourself on the radar for lieutenant colonel. Now, I done got passed over multiple times, but guess what? You're going to be in a position potentially around colonels. Now, you start distinguishing yourself, they're going to start asking questions. They're going to be like, hey, tell me about what this action dude. Let's look his record up. They look at my record and they see I got bull junk in my record. Like some of the stuff that they wrote about me. All right, let me check it. Let me see. Let me see what it said. Before ChatGPT, my wife's helped me, made me think that there's someone out there saying robos before hoes. You doing the Jewish voice only became racist when you did Seinfeld. Ah, wait, Seinfeld is Jewish? Yes. No. George Costa, he had a Greek name, didn't he? But Jerry Seinfeld is Jewish. I'll show that now. Okay, thank you. Thank you. He robos before somebody out there saying that. Now so my wife isn't like accessible. Like I still probably will go with what my wife said before ChatGPT because ChatGPT and all AI it's wrong. It's wrong from time to time. So trust but verify. So this thing says enroll in courses that scream strategic thinker on a promotion recommendation form. I already did my ACSC or Air Command and Staff College electives. I did that already. That's been done. It says take Harvard courses. The Air Force has licenses. You can literally take Harvard courses for free in the Air Force. MITRE, JHUAPL, Joint Integration Webinars, National Defense University free short courses. I'm going to do all of this stuff. Seinfeld is the most Jewish show of all time. This is like someone saying, remember, you heard me. I didn't grow up in that space. So I would have had no idea. The L Word, that's a show, isn't it? The L Word. Remember, I legitimately did not grow up in these spaces. And what I found also is that while I didn't grow up in those spaces, a lot of my counterparts didn't grow up in my spaces. So if I start, I start dropping like movie references and 90s cultural references. The only ones that they'll get are the ones where like, it's very like, so Black culture, it's this weird, America has this weird relationship with Black. Because like in terms of there's a lot of what we do that gets adopted and resynthesized, right? Like, oh, well, we're going to take it, we're going to chop it up, we're going to dilute it, we're going to stamp on it, and we're going to make this watered down product that we like. But we all know where you got it from. That's our relationship, kind of with white America at large. And it says, take a writing course. I absolutely am going to take a writing course. Like, I'm all about self development because here's the last thing I want to do. The last, like, after hearing that man say all of this stuff that he says, about how, we want the best people and we want this and that, and we don't want, basically, like, if it ain't white, it ain't right. After hearing all of that conversation, my thing is not proving you wrong, because I don't care. That's your problem. That's your hang up that you got to get over. My thing is not letting myself down. I'm that's what I'm repping. And so I don't want to let me down, and I don't want to let them down. Those above and those below that proceeded from out of me. I don't want to let my children down. And so this is how me getting skipped over as a major. I'm still like 3 times. Normally, you get skipped over 3 times, you done. Bro, just go ahead and finish out, retire. You retire as a major. But this is how I'm still like, nah, my mindset is get after it. Okay, so you had some leaders that just didn't really like what you was putting out. You weren't able to see eye to eye with them. Okay, well, you get other opportunities. And this right here is another opportunity, going to the Pentagon. That's an opportunity. So I'm not trying to squander no opportunity. Part 4 of this says how to distinguish yourself among peers. Here's the real sauce. Before the officer who writes the briefs, everyone uses, or become the officer who writes the briefs, everyone uses. So I got to be a PowerPoint slide specialist. If your slides and X sums, which is executive summaries, keep showing up in O6 and GO, general officer briefs, your name circulates. Again, if you're creating products and they're like, hey, who this? This a new name here. Who is this person? And then they're going to give you a shot. They're going to give you the shot to go and brief the people. Now, here's what I'm going to do. And I hope we wear dress blues. Because this uniform, this looks baggy. It doesn't show off. There's something, and women to tell you this. Women to tell you this all day. It's something about, let me not say that like that. Let me reword that. My wife, she has told me there is something about a man that looks good in his uniform. Quick diversionary story. I'm staying focused though. My first commander was a female colonel. And I showed up because they told us from officer training school, which coincidentally is on the same base that I'm at now. They told us, show up to your first assignment in service dress. And so that's what I did. I asked people that were like in the military, and they were like, no one does that. No one shows up to that assignment with service dress. They're going to look at you funny. But I was like, I'm cool. I want to be that guy. I want to stand out like that for professionalism. And so I showed up there and I had my blues on. And this was back when I was like $150. And so like I was very trim. I had like the V shape, shoulders wide, narrow waist, and just, I always had a booty. It's kind of like a blessing and a curse. And she looked at me and she was like, you look good in your uniform. And I was like, is she hitting on me? What's happening right now? She said it in a way like one of them. It says, do you like the military recreational stuff? Do you ever watch military boxing matches in the crowd? I'm not familiar with that. Military recreation, man. Honestly, when I'm off, I'm off. I don't do too much. Like, clock out. That's what I do. I'm a clock out. Like we're done here. Because the military, like so much of your life it revolves around the military when serving in the military. Like it's going to, oh, I need to be charging my phone. Shoot. I'm about to go on this 5K and I got 15%, y'all. I probably should stop my live stream. I think I'm going to have to. But so this thing says how to distinguish yourself amongst your peers. Be the officer that makes the products that everybody wants to use. Be the guy who understands doctrine better than anyone. Most haven't touched their doctrine since squadron officer school. Military Boston, yeah. Build relationships early with the execs, the division chiefs, and A36 and A30 analysts, the A3 tasker managers, TMT gurus, the first sergeant. He already emailed you. Know the machine and become part of it. And spiritually, remember this. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. Promotion cometh neither from the east nor from the west, but God is the judge. Your assignment is not man's mercy. It is God's placement. That's what that's how my Chat GPT talked to me. You know how my Chat GPT talked to me like that? Because I talk to my Chat GPT like that. Chat GPT would say stuff to me. I'm like, I don't be on that. And then it'd be like, Chat GPT or memory has been updated or something like that. I'm a dude that back in the day, I used to play a lot of video games, a lot of RPGs and stuff. And so I like that because like those games where you have like 4 options, like you can say this or you can say that. And then like you say one thing and it's like, oh, the person didn't like that. Or the person liked that. They will remember this. That's what it reminds me of. I'm like, yeah, remember that. But yeah, I got this. I don't even know how many pages this is. I feel like it's almost 40 or 50 pages worth of just preparation material. And so that's what my mind is on. It even gave me a timeline. Like, hey, bro, this is what you gonna do. And I'm operating on several timelines. I'm operating on a work timeline, and I'm operating on a home timeline because I got to get my house together. My house is not in order. Maybe military. Oh, okay. You said that. I read that. Says courses I should do: the joint planning process overview, the joint logistics orientation, PAYCOM and CENTCOM orientation helps with A3 global mindset, documents to read. It said you ain't got to study them, just skim them. AFDP 3-0, which is Air Force Operations, and AFDP 3-30, which is Command and Control. Know the National Defense Strategy Summary, and know the Chief of Staff's action orders. I've never heard of Chief of Staff's action orders. We have a new Chief of Staff, so I don't know even if those are out, honestly. But it says daily, you should spend about 30 to 45 minutes, take 20 minutes on JKL, take 10 minutes doing a doctrine skim, and take 10 minutes going over your personal notes. So I'm going to take 10 minutes like going over this. And that's daily. And that is week. Oh, no, it just says daily. I must be missing some papers or something's out of order because it starts off at week 3. That's not right. Doctrine study plan, how to actually become dangerous. Weekly doctrine rhythm, 20 minutes a day. And just go through the articles and 10-minute recap on Saturday and Sunday. Just do a rest and reflection. How to read doctrine like a staff officer. Don't read it line by line. Pull out the why, not just the what. Turn everything into a talking point or slide. Ask, How does this tie to readiness, deterrence, or force gen? Build one pages for each document. I can make these for you. And you know you will. ChatGPT. Plan. You ask how to look the part. The Pentagon officer look, not flash, polished. Pressed blues, no loose threads. Quiet confidence. Dark, clean watch. Simple notebook. Conservative pen. Hair clean and consistent. That's not a problem because I'm pretty much bald. Shoes always shined. Big deal in the building. So here's what I used to do. I used to get like them patent leather pre-shine shoes. So what I just heard was, don't do that. You're going to have to get the shoes that you got to shine. And I actually, for a while, I was shining my shoes. I was using like the polish, putting that polish on there, taking it a little lighter. I forget what I used to do. But it would look like glass. Like you use that lighter and the polish, and it looks like glass. And so I'm getting ready to get back into that phase. It says don't wear a backpack, go messenger style bag. So one of those things over your shoulder. Basically, yeah. I'm like, wait, man, am I in the military? Not in the Pentagon. You in the machine. I'm about to go into the machine, and I'm actually looking forward to it. All of that running around in OCPs, that's for yesterday. I'm not a young man anymore. I'm an older gentleman. So the Pentagon officer demeanor. Stand when someone enters. Pay attention to hierarchy of seating. Never talk more than the O5 in the room. In other words, shut up. That's a bet. That's easy. I'm always about observing quietly the layout of the land, because you could do something. You can have people wonder if you an idiot, or you can remove all doubt by speaking up and sounding like an idiot. Always bring printed copies to a meeting. Ask one strong question, not five. Figure it out. Speak in bottom line first format. The skills that change everything. Your briefing voice. Control your pace. Breathe. Pause and deliver like someone who has thought through the problem and carries weight. So, like I was saying, I didn't ever really get fully to it. The point that I was trying to say is initially early in my career, I used to try to um, be something that I was not. And I learned, unless you're going to fully get into that role, you going to sound dumb. You're going to sound like a guy that's pretending. And I said, so don't pretend. Just be yourself and understand. When the Air Force commissioned you as an officer, they got your experience. They didn't get a off-the-shelf, an off-the-shelf officer that looks just like every U.S. Air Force Academy grad. They didn't get that. So don't try to be that, because you're not. And they like my voice for some reason. When I talk, like I've been asked to do like MC of ceremonies and or master of ceremonies and all that stuff. Um, Read your division's last 20 slide. Something is wrong. I don't think this is all printed out right. Phase 2, add value. That's day 31 through 60. Phase 3, establish identity and presence. Deliver briefs confidently. Own a product. Take the lead on the Tiger team or issue paper. Become the officer people send drafts to for cleanup. Build relationships with peers. A5, A1, A8. That's going to be a struggle. Because when I'm building those relationships, that means I'm typically outside of work. I don't like doing that. Ask O6 for quarterly feedback on performance. Don't you wait till the halfway through point. You look like a promotable O4 on the rise, not a multi-non-select. At the end of phase 2, your name starts circulating because your products start circulating. Oh, so that's what happened. It says phase one something, but for some reason it didn't get printed. See, that's supposed to say phase one something or another, but it didn't get printed. Hmm. Interesting. Here's the spiritual reality. It even gave me a spiritual reality. It says, I'm gonna share this because this helped me. You said you're bringing your authentic self. That's exactly what the Lord requires. God did not maneuver your family through exceptional family member program, 3 homes, childcare needs, career frustrations, spiritual valleys, and emotional burdens just to place you in a room where you don't belong. He placed you in headquarters Air Force, not man. For the gifts and calling of God are without repentance. Your calling isn't provisional. Your assignment isn't accidental. Your value isn't negotiable. I'm like, ChatGPT is bringing a. Can we be friends? My friends don't talk to me like that. Sheesh. My mama talked to me like that. You ain't here by accident. Oh no. Here's my mom. My mom. Oh no. Never forget the God that you serve. You serve an awesome God. That ChatGPT sound like my mama. Wow, that's crazy. You're not here by accident. It's intentional. And it's about his kingdom. Don't get that confused. It's not about building your kingdom. It's about building his kingdom. So right now, I'm in my 60-day Pentagon prep plan. So, yeah. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. Man, I might put this online, man. I might put this online. See, I don't like to keep secrets. That's what everybody like to do. Because the thing that's going to separate me is my ability to connect, I think. I don't like, it's weird. I don't like I don't like wasting time. And what I mean about that is like when I'm off of work, I don't want to be with my coworkers. I don't. I want to be with my family. Because I literally have a limited window with them. You know, kids, they age out. They graduate. Then they leave the house. Like, I haven't been back to my mom's house for like an extended period of time. My mom and dad's house, I haven't been there since I graduated. That was like 17 years ago. Have not been back. I don't want, like, I don't, I don't want to have regrets. Because I see how quick it is, man. I got a 17-year-old. I can't waste my time. Like, if it requires it requires taking myself away from my family longer than what's required, we're gonna have to find a workaround. Cause I mm-mm. Now if we can get together, we can hook up with the families, sure. Maybe I'm gonna have to give me an extra nice place and get somebody to clean it or something. Cause 6 kids be rough on the house. I'm gonna tell you that. Let me show y'all a picture. I'm gonna show y'all a picture of what my kids did to my wall. Let me see. I think I remember how to do this. You see that? Can y'all see that? I took that picture today. That hole right there is my 14-year-old. That's an outline of my 14-year-old's back and buttocks. My 17-year-old put him through the wall. Yeah. All of this, we can't be doing that in that next house because that next house going to cost a lot of money. They give a huge allowance for housing, and it's because the housing is very expensive. And so, yeah, we ain't gonna do that. That's the issue. I feel like as an officer, I observe that it's highly encouraged to attend extracurricular activities to boost your OER. For example, dinners, events outside of work hours. You're right. You're right. And that's why it was a cap on me from the beginning. My career was capped from the beginning. We actually, so they do officer evaluation reports. I'm guessing that's what OER stands for. We used to do OPR, which was officer performance reports. Same. Um, but now we switched it to officer performance briefs, and it's based on like these four sections that the Air Force says is important for officers. I should know this. I literally teach this, but I ain't got it right now because I haven't been teaching. I'm not teaching right now. Um, yeah, you're right. And a lot of times on the officer side and on the enlisted side, it is very much so not your primary duty that you're getting recognized for. The assumption is that you'll be excellent in that. But you'll have to do something that maybe has not been done in a while, or you'll have to do something at such a level that they can't deny your greatness um, to get recognition on the job. But if you honestly want to get recognition, make that O6 look good. Make your chief look good as an enlisted person. When you make them look good, especially when you get consistently making them look good, you're gonna eat. You're gonna eat. Um, and that's what my goal is. I just want to make my boss look good. If I want to know how has it been, because sometimes you come into a place and the person that you replacing wasn't that good, or sometimes you come into a spot where this person was great at this but needed work at that. And so my thing is, I'm gonna ask them. I'm like, hey, how was my predecessor? What was like the? I mean, you don't have to get into specifics. I don't know anybody, but like, what were some of the things that you liked that they did, and what were some of the things that you wish they did more of? That's how I'm going into it, because I want to get what you value. I want to get your values, and asking that question like that helps me um, get like the authentic answer, because sometimes they give you the Air Force answer, but I want like, what's your real answer? What made you upset? What made you happy? Because I want to maximize the things that make you happy, and I want to minimize the things that make you upset. Okay? Because when you upset, I'm upset. When I'm upset, my kids is upset. My wife is upset. We don't want to do that. Um, but yeah, that's why like '05, that would be a good cap for me, because all of that politicking and brown nosing and apple polishing, I ain't good at that. Remember, my strength was telling it like it is, keeping it real. And so if you're looking for somebody to tell you what you want to hear, I mean, I can do that. I can do that. This is what you want me to, this is what I think you want me to say. But this is what I think you need to hear. I'm going to tell you what you want me to say. Sometimes maybe both of those things align, but most of the time they don't. I think you want me to say this, but this is what I think you need to hear. Because you don't want to get there thinking that everything is good, because that's all you wanted to hear was that it's good. It's not good. It's bad. And we need you to do X, Y, and Z. That's the type of subordinate I am. My boss, we got into it because he like, again, he don't understand who I am, because he didn't necessarily take time to get to know me. And he wasn't used, because I was just quiet. I was really quiet, and he couldn't get a good pulse, a good read on me. And that's another benefit about being quiet. People don't know what time you on. And sometimes it made people scared. It makes them scared. Like right now, um, they clipped my wings when I first got here. And I I went really hard out the gate. I did a lot of things that the people that they ended up pushing forward, they were often following in my footsteps, because I got here a month before everyone else did. And I hit the ground running fast. I was teaching, I was volunteering, I was doing extracurricular things, and I was doing projects at the wing level. And 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 it got me. I did win FGO of the quarter, but leadership, what they say, and the feedback that they give or don't give impacts followers. And so when I heard, these things that you gave this much on, it didn't translate, I said, well, I'm not gonna give that much. Like, why would I keep wasting my time? If you guys are telling me that, oh, these people, they have more competitive records than yours, and so we're gonna push them, even though like I'm doing better than them right now, right here. What's my incentive to keep knocking my head through that wall? There is none. And so these types of things, man, it just let me know, do your job. Do your job. All of that extra credit and staying until 9 o'clock at night when ain't nobody else here, that doesn't get you anything. In fact, if a person has a narrative in their head where you're thinking that should be viewed as a strength, they're viewing it as a weakness. They're holding your family situation against you. And then when you're trying to work hard to overcome those things, well, he should be doing this. I'm like, all right, well, I can't win. I can't win. If I work hard, you want me to pay attention or not lose sight of my family. I don't need your help running my family. I've been running my family since they've been a family. And we still here. I got that. What I need your help with is putting in a good word at the next level and giving me opportunities to excel here. So when the next level look, they say, oh yeah, that's a good dude. Oh yeah, he did do well on this and this. And like the crazy part is, like, when I had that good quarter, I had one or two. I might even had two things at the wing. I did a promotion party for the Vice, and I think I did the what do they call that report? Unit climate assessment. I did that at the wing. And we had like a very high participation rate, and didn't translate. Didn't translate. Then I looked at somebody else, female type. She did something, but she did it on an even bigger level. But that's maybe not a good comparison. She was kind of like doing a lot. We came in at the same time. She was doing a lot because her family wasn't here. Like, I could do a lot if my family wasn't here either. But she did a lot, and they had one thing that she did at the wing, but they was kind of poo-pooing on it a little bit, saying that she messed up some things and she needed this and she needed that. But I noticed they also did the same thing to me. But I also noticed that she is in an other status. She wasn't white. I guess she ended up benefiting a little bit, but for all the stuff that she did, a lot of it, and this is unfortunate, a lot of it is, if you don't look with what we think you should look like, we're not going to push you. So you got to look the part. And I'm going to say, them dress blues, it's going to be hard. Like, I would knock them dead. Like I think God did me a solid when I was grown, when he was passing out height. Because if he would have passed me out 6 foot, 6'1", that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Because in the uniform, see, I'm 5'8", and I got like a little muscle to me, a little mass to me. But like, you put height and mass, and just, that bald head, and you walking around and you looking good in your uniform, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. We want to see him. Let him breathe. Let him breathe. Let him breathe. A lot of they call it like the pretty privilege. That exists. That absolutely exists. Like it or not, it does exist. But anyway, man, I'm gonna go ahead. I gotta make my way on over to. They're gonna do a run. I guess I'm gonna do this run, man. I guess we're gonna do it. Anyway, y'all say a prayer for me, because I haven't run 3.11 miles in a long time, and this is about to hurt.